Would have been better off with his dad and his wife, and they would have had a wonderful life with their stepmom and their daddy. And he never got the chance.
First at 8, a big break in a high-profile Arizona true crime case. Police announced an arrest in the cold case death of 10-year-old Jesse Wilson from Buckeye, who disappeared in 2016.
The boy's adoptive mother, Crystal Wilson, now charged with involvement in the boy's death, something other family members suspected for years. But tonight, the boy's biological father and grandmother speaking exclusively to Brianna Whitney. What they have to say.
The whole thing is a heartbreaking situation. There is absolutely a feeling of relief, but that's mixed with feelings that has more that there has to be done here. Jesse and his siblings were removed from their biological parents' home when they were young due to some stability issues. Now his father and grandmother want to see Crystal Wilson face homicide charges, but police say right now they just don't have enough evidence to do that.
When you look at the last pictures of 10-year-old Jesse Wilson, his eyes are nearly identical to his father, the man he was named after.
He didn't deserve that. He could have had a better life.
Jesse Machado is Jesse Wilson's biological dad, and from afar has had to watch the painstaking investigation of the disappearance of his son in 2016, then when his remains were found in Buckeye in 2018. Machado and his mom, Carolyn Lassenberry, suspected Jesse's adoptive mother, Crystal Wilson, was at fault all along. Finally, this week, Crystal was arrested in Georgia in connection to Jesse's death.
Why wasn't the state doing anything? They seen what was going on. They didn't do anything. They did not protect this child.
Today, Buckeye Police addressed the fact that authorities had been to Wilson's home before after Jesse had tried to run away.
Based upon that incident alone, there was nothing to indicate that he needed to be removed from the house. If there was, we would have contacted DCS and taken steps to have him, taken steps with DCS to have him removed. But there was nothing on that initial call to indicate abuse, neglect, or anything along those lines that time we went out there.
But now, Buckeye Police Chief Larry Hall says they believe neglect by Wilson played a part in Jesse's death. Chief Hall says they used DNA from Wilson's Jeep along with statements she made and technology evidence that put her in the area where his remains were found to lead to an arrest. But she is only facing charges of abandonment or concealment of a body, not a murder charge. Chief Hall says there just wasn't enough evidence right now for that.
It was very difficult at the very beginning when you don't have a body for a prosecution. And then when we did locate him, that didn't provide any further information for us. And then as we continued on, this is what we came up with. As
for Jesse's biological family, that part is bittersweet.
Well, it's a relief. But the justice is not served yet. She's not sentenced yet.
I want a murder charge on her. That was my grandson. She killed my grandson, and I know she did.
And for a father who believes he could have given his son a better life than what he had, this weighs on his heart that much more.
You know, what would you want him to know from you?
That I love him.
Crystal Wilson will be extradited back here to Maricopa County for prosecution. Buckeye PD says right now she is not cooperating with authorities and won't talk to them. We learned today Jesse's biological mom passed away in February, and her last Facebook post and last message to her family was that justice would be served for her son. Wow. So heartbreaking. Yeah. And so there's a lot more to this case. For one thing, you saw it there, video of Crystal Wilson. She talked to the media back in 2016. Yeah. She was pretty active, obviously now on the other side of things. So we're working on a podcast, True Crime Arizona. We're gonna release that tomorrow. That has kind of a timeline and all of the details of how we got to this point.
How awful is it to have a gut feeling about this adoptive mother and then the story play out like this? I mean, obviously innocent until proven guilty, but to have a gut feeling about something that actually materializes innocence, it's got to be just awful for that family.
And you know that they wanted to give the kids more care, and they're kind of at that helpless point where from afar they couldn't do anything at this point, and that's awful.
An arrest long time in the making.
Right.
Brianna Whitney, thanks for that. Look forward to the podcast tomorrow. All right.